Hi, the purpose of this video is to teach you the basics of Photoshop's animation tools. Now, Photoshop isn't the ideal program for something like this, but if it's your only option, then this video is for you. So, let's get started. Okay, so now that we're in Photoshop, we should go over pretty much the interface of what you'll be using. If you go up here into Window, this tab up top, go down and you'll see Animation. I already have it open, but you will probably need to open it anyway. I guess we should start with the animation GUI right now. There are two little tabs. You will probably be using the animation frames tab, more often, because it will be where you will be choreographing, I guess, the frames, each frame for the video you want to make. So right here is a single frame. This will pretty much just represents a set amount of time that a certain amount of layers are showing right down here. And on this tab we can choose how long we want to. If we want no delay, which is 0 seconds, all the way up to 10 seconds as a default. And we can also do other for as low as 0.01 seconds. But the time that we'll probably be using mostly is 0.06 seconds to 0.08 seconds. That is about the average time that most frames are on average. And then if we go down here, this tab is for how many times it loops each animation. So go from the frame selected to the end frame. It'll go all the way back to the first frame and repeat itself that many times. So as default, you can go once, 3 times, or forever. Now, right here is a new frame button that will pretty much duplicate the selected frames and give you a new frame if you only have one selected, obviously. Now, as you can see, when we didn't have one frames, most of the options right down here were grayed out. But when we create a new one, it gives us a lot more options. So this skips all the way to the first frame you have. This skips over one frame and back. So these two arrows with lines skip back and forth and can let you move around. And then the play button just plays your animation. Now this button is kind of like a blur. It's a little more advanced. I'll get into it later, but for now, just know that it's sort of like a blur effect. It kind of smooths out each frame in a certain way that you want. Now right here, this button that's right by the new frame button is the delete selected frames button. That will do as implied. Then right here is the timeline, really a little more advanced, because what I'm going to be doing is the basics. I really doubt that you will be doing that a lot. So now that we've got the UI down, let's begin by going down how we create animation. So as you may have heard before, I did say layers, because what frames do is it's like capturing a certain amount of layers per frame, and it takes those, puts them in an order, and plays them in a quick succession. Now, if we create a new layer, we can create a dot. This is a dot. Now, what we can do with this dot is, because it's on a separate layer, we can move it. Now, frames are weird by, like, if you create a couple frames, create a new frame, draw something on it, it will be on all of the frames. It's kind of picky, but you will get to learn to live with it. But anyway, now, the move tool can be used in a number of different ways. Some are more compatible than others. So what we can do is we can use the arrow keys to move it over back and forth, up, down, whatever. Now say we want to move pixel from here to just over here somewhere. Now what we can do is we can use the animation frames to move it over. So all I need to do is have that starting frame right here as my first frame, create a new frame, move it over, create a new frame, move it over, create a new frame, move it over, and do that over and over until I get as far as I want it to move. So I'll do that right quick. Alright, so we've got this little dot and each frame has it moving over 1 pixel. Now if we start playing that, each 0.7 seconds it will move a pixel from here to here over to the right. But what if we wanted it to move back to the left? Then what we would have to do is we would have to reverse it and move it back another 12 spaces or so. And I'll do that right quick. Alright, so now we've got an animation that makes the pixel move back and forth and back and forth. Now, what I should tell you now is that the move tool and the animation UI sometimes don't get along very well. So say we delete all these frames and go create just a blob of something, squiggle kind of thing. Now what I could do is have just something where it moves down here, back up, and like this, and it would just jitter back and forth. Now what we cannot do is we cannot resize it or resize the layer or manipulate it in any way without it affecting every single other frame. So if we would want it to spin around, we would have to create new frames for each time it's spun around. So as you can see, if I try to twist it in all the others, and it just looks not how I want it to. But it does look something like Saturn. Anyway, now another thing we can do is we can have, say we want this dot to get bigger. So what we could do is have new layers for each time it gets bigger. And each time it gets bigger, we can then create a new frame for that, and then have it look something like this. Alright, so now I have 10 frames, all consisting of a different size line. And when we play that, it looks like the line just keeps getting bigger and smaller, and keeps doing that over and over. So, yeah, those are some basics to how you can animate in Photoshop. Because you need to be creative with it. You need to know, like, I'm not going to show you how to draw. That's not what this video is about. This is about learning how to animate with Photoshop. But I should tell you that to export it, you will need to go down into File, then go to Export, Render Video. It'll let you just adjust this file and stuff, but usually you should go with something like a MOV or MP4 or something. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope these basics help you a bit, and I may see you next time.